Welcome, welcome! It's my dog with the TexasSpaceNavy bringing you another Star Citizen video. And today we're going to talk about Friday's Star Citizen Live. Now, if you don't know what Star Citizen Live is, they do this like every other Friday, something along those lines. And they bring in people from the development team to talk about different aspects of the game development, whether it's Squadron 42 based or Persistent Universe based or both. So this week's episode has a couple of the vehicle and ship team leads. John Crewe down at the bottom there is one of them. The other guy's name is Ben. I can't remember what his last name is right offhand, but they decided to talk about the IAE ships. So those are the flyable ships that are in the game. And it was full of a lot of information. Honestly, I'm not going to be able to recap the entire episode because it's an hour-long worth of information that these guys threw at us. So I'll just do my best to kind of give some of the highlights. They won't necessarily be your highlights, but they may be some of mine. I really felt like it was a good episode, but the last 10-15 minutes of the show was probably the part that most people wanted to see more than the other nearly hour or 50 minutes of talking. Now, they had some great questions about capital ships, the Perseus. Those things were handled as well in the previous episode of Inside Star Citizen. But mostly the questions during the first 50 minutes were all geared towards flyable ships. One of the things that they talked about are canopies, like the fighter canopies opening on their own. This has been an issue for quite some time, and they had a fix going into 3.12, but they've had to roll that back. So you guys who really enjoy doing some of the fighter combat, with some of the ships like the Hornet or the Saber or the Vandal ships, etc., you guys are gonna have to wait a little bit longer to get that canopy fix in the game. The reason why is they said when they fixed the code, it broke something else. Of course. Once the canopies were closing, they got all the canopies to where they would close. The problem is you couldn't exit the seats all the time. So you may be stuck in your ship forever. So yeah, that's not the best solution. It seems like a typical CIG solution, but that's programming, right? So you enter more code and it breaks other code, so you got to go and fix that. So they will come up with a solution. They just haven't gotten there yet. One of the other things that they talked about was the overhaul to the Constellation series of ships. They did mention that it's going to have better flight characteristics in 3.12. They definitely revisited that. There are some shield hole issues. They said weren't really issues. The code was acting the way it's supposed to, but with the current technology they have in the game, as far as the way that the shields are operating and the lack of armor, etc., it presents itself as a shield hole and is an issue for a lot of people flying those ships. Connie should be tougher, right? And that's pretty much what they're saying is, yeah, it should be tougher, but this issue is why it's not. Same thing with like the Super Hornet. They know that some of these older ships are not performing up to standard, and they do plan on revisiting those ships and improving them. One of the redos on the Connie series is going to be the docking collars. They need to make those a little bit bigger so that they match up with what they have coming down the pipe for docking. So you can expect that change to happen with the Connies. They did say they also were going to be revisiting the 600i interior space. They did say that they're not going to just take the 890 jump interior and try to throw it in the 600i. They didn't want to do that. They feel like some ships do need that more open space feel like the 890 Jump, but that's not what they wanted for the 600i. So they will be redoing some of the interior. John specifically said that the traversal paths throughout the ship were not great, and it needed to be looked at again. So hallelujah for you 600i owners. It's going to get changed eventually. Probably not soon at all. You'll have to wait. Probably a while. They talked about the Retaliator being the first ship to get modules. Now, I misspoke yesterday with my org during our org op night. I believe I said the Caterpillar would be, but no, the Retaliator will be getting the modules first. So if you don't know, the Retaliator, after the bomber came out, was sold as a base hull that you could also buy modules for. And they haven't resold those modules in a really long time. I don't know how you'd get your hands on them other than the gray market, or maybe even the black market at this point. So it should be very difficult to get your hands on those for whatever reason. I guess they probably overpromised, or something along those lines. But if you don't know, the Retaliator base could have the torpedo modules that make it the bomber, both in the front and the back. It could get crew quarters. It could get a Titan, a Titan hangar. It could have dropship capability to where it would have like jump seats and stuff like that. It could have cargo, which would actually make that ship pretty cool, especially if you can get enough blades or NPCs to run the guns. The Retaliator as a cargo ship would be really fun. It had all sorts of different modules that were somewhat promised and sold. And again, I haven't seen these modules sold in a long time, so maybe when the modules come out, you'll be able to buy them again to throw them on your base Retaliator. I do not have the base Retaliator. I thought about getting one not long ago, but I've got the Retaliator bomber, and I've got other ships that will be able to perform the duties that the base Retaliator will do. Now, a lot of people don't want to have multiple ships, understandable, so it may be a great idea to pick up the Retaliator base and then buy a bunch of the modules so that you can do whichever gameplay that suits your fancy at that time. Now, it will take a little time to switch out the modules and stuff, but yeah. They said that the Polaris has actually grown a little bit in size. They didn't say how much, they just said a little bit. You know, it used to be 155 meters long, but they said it's still in the hundreds. So this thing may have gotten another 40 meters long. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. They said that the hangar bay would be more geometric, so it's not going to be odd shaped. I don't know if that just makes it easier for them to code for it, or maybe they're wanting to put more in there. I don't know. The Redeemer is in white box phase, so that's something everybody can look forward to having soon, maybe March, hopefully. We'll have to see how the production goes on that. And then they also, well, let's get into what they talked about the last 15 minutes of the show. I mean, the Polaris was part of it. The Javelin has had some changes since May, so they're reworking some of that. The Banu Merchantman has grown. Now, it's not grown a huge amount. It's still kind of the same size category as what they were saying, but it's having to be reconcepted. It's going to keep the original cargo capacity that it had when it was sold. So that's what, 3,500, somewhere in there, SCU. That's pretty massive. I mean, the Kraken's going to have similar to that, and the Kraken's a massive ship. So how big did the Banu Merchantman really get? I can't wait, but they did say it's going to be a really long ways off, so don't hold your breath on the Merchantman. It's going to take a while before we see anything on it. But that's really great news that they're doing that. They're having to reconcept quite a few different ships because they just don't match up with style guys like the Genesis Starliner. They said they're reconcepting it due to the fact that it's older. It doesn't kind of match up with the Crusader style anymore. So I don't know what that's going to end up looking like. Some of y'all might be disappointed hearing that. Others may not be. I mean, I saw, you know, the Mercury Star Runner, and I saw the Hercules part of it, what it looks like, and I have some hope on the Genesis Starliner looking and feeling like a cool ship. You know, we'll have to wait and see where the developers take it, but I still think it's got a great amount of potential to becoming something cool. So guys, what did you think of this episode? Did you even watch Star Citizen Live? What stood out about my little recap to you? You know, how are you feeling about some of these ships that are down on the horizon? About 312 rollback on the canopy issue. I mean, hopefully they can get that right, because that's quite annoying when you're flying a fighter. You know, I know a lot of you guys have experienced that. I have too. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. If you guys are looking for an org to join, my org is Texas. That'll be in the description down below as well, that you can check out. If you're new to the game and it's a game you're interested in getting, I have a referral code, and if you use that referral code, it'll be in the description as well. You'll get 5,000 bonus credits when you start your account. So that will always help you out, you know, early on in the game when you're trying to buy the necessities to carve out your living in the verse. I do want to say thank you to all my Patreon and YouTube subscribers and members. You guys are really awesome. I really do appreciate you guys sponsoring this channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. That information will be down below in the description of the video too, if you want to join up or become a sponsor of the Texas Space Navy. So guys, once again, thank you so much. I certainly do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. It means the world to me. I've got a great little podcasty type interview that I'm doing this afternoon with a special guest, and I hope to put that up on the page or on the YouTube channel tomorrow. We'll see how it all turns out. I think you guys will look forward to it. It's somebody that's gotten a little bit of pop here recently, and well deserved. I'm Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy, and I'll see you guys out in the verse.